Welcome back, everybody. Today we'll be discussing the Jordan 4 A MA MANIERE. Specifically, we'll be discussing whether you should sell or hold the Jordan 4 A MA MANIERE and why that is. To preface this, if you guys enjoy these types of videos regarding the market, reselling, and even info on how to acquire these limited products, be sure to subscribe and enable post notifications. This way you're always 100% updated. Furthermore, for more urgent updates like the recent shock drops we have seen, follow my Twitter, KeithAdam10, and personals for you. And of course, for early information before these drops actually occur, Endurance has your back, such as the shock drop for the Jordan 11 Cherry that we just recently saw. For those who don't know, the Jordan 4 A MA MANIERE releases on November 17th, tomorrow. This release will be on the A MA MANIERE website, and they will most likely be doing a new domain launch, which definitely should allow for a big cookout for manual users, and as usual, I will tweet out the new domain link on my Twitter, KeithAdam10. However, they will also be having a Nike sneakers drop on the 23rd. Retail will be $225, but the A MA MANIERE drop will likely cost an extra $30 in shipping as usual. Stock on these is slightly higher than that of the Jordan 3 A MA MANIERE at under 30,000 pairs. Obviously, nothing close to a general release, but we should see lots of manual success through the A MA MANIERE drop at least. In order to determine if the Jordan 4 A MA MANIERE will be a fruitful hold or not, we will cover an estimated range of what the sneaker will settle at after the drop, and also when shipments come in, essentially the pairs going into circulation, whether they're expected to increase post-drop or even hypothetically continue to decrease, along with how much specifically over specific periods of time, and finally, what type of margin are we looking at for these in terms of holding? Not the retail to resale initial margin, but rather the hold margin over X period of time. Basically, even if these do go up, are they going to be worth your time or not? Kicking it off, let's discuss the estimated range that these should be settling at. To begin with, again, stock on these is quite low, understandably so, very similar to the stock that we saw on the Jordan 3 A MA MANIERE. Of course, this low supply will play a notable factor. Furthermore, demand is extremely high on these. Based off of current pre-drop bids, it appears that these have more demand than any prior Jordan MANIERE collab did pre-drop. While yes, the sale volume is of course low compared to many sneakers we typically cover, you must understand that there are exponentially more pairs of general releases in circulation compared to these small collaborations. The notable takeaway is that there still remains a fair amount of sales, despite the extremely high pre-sale, in addition to the notable amount of very high bids. Despite the retail being elevated at $225 and the Maniere website also charging $30 in shipping or more with tax, I still believe that these will be very profitable with a very good margin in all sizes, and the larger sizes being the best. I'm going full throttle on this drop, of course, but I'm really hoping to grab my personal size. Let me know what you guys think about these in the comments below. Now, regarding a specific range, prices have already seen the vast majority of their pre-drop decrease since it is the day before. But again, you don't typically see that much of a decrease pre-drop when it comes to these lower stocked collaboration pairs, contrary to a general release. Nonetheless, this leaves the current average at about $621 for sizes 8 to 12, but of course, this is only the pre-drop average. We normally see a notable change post-US drop. This is when we normally experience what I like to refer to as the impulsivity effect. Guess you know what I'm referring to by now, as we discuss this very frequently, yet it almost always still occurs. Regarding the impulsivity effect, if you haven't watched my seller hold videos before, sneaker drops specifically impact human impulsiveness significantly after an individual fails to acquire that desired product due to insufficient supply and too much demand. Therefore, on average, we normally see about a 5 to 10% increase of the pre-drop prices post-drop. Recently, we did see a 10% increase on the Jordan 1 Yellow Toe post-drop, for example. However, that 5 to 10% is not always the case, such as when a sneaker is already slightly overvalued. When it comes to these Jordan 4 A MA MANIEREs, I certainly believe that they are overvalued at the moment due to the fact that there are simply hardly any in circulation at all, almost always the case with these collab pairs with relatively low stock. Hence, rather than a typical positive impulsivity effect, I would instead be prepared to expect a negative impulsivity effect. Typically, collaboration pairs in this same situation tend to drop at least 10% post-drop, but often we see higher amounts like 15 to 20% as well. Either way, the amount that they begin to drop as shipments go out usually tends to even out to around a 25 to 30% total decrease anyway. So with that said, Taking a more conservative estimate, I'd expect a 10% drop in value initially, bringing sizes 8 to 12 to around $559 on average. Remember though, this is temporary. Now let's discuss what prices will look like once the actual shipments begin to go out in the 1 to 2 week range. During this period, the overwhelming majority of pairs will be going into circulation. Usually when it comes to general releases, I expect a typical 10% decrease, but since these are in the unique situation of being a collaboration pair with hardly any pairs in circulation beforehand, this leaves a lot more room for a decrease. As mentioned earlier, the post-drop and post-shipment decrease often tend to total to around 25 to 30%, so I'd expect at least a 20% decrease from the post-drop price of $559 as shipments go out over the next few weeks. This would then hypothetically leave prices at about $447, so larger sizes will still hover close to around $500 or touching, with small sizes close to the low 400s. And luckily, that still does leave sufficient profit with or without tax on all sizes, but again, larger sizes should remain the best. Now that the average price ranges at those points in time are evident though, let's discuss whether they're expected to increase from the post-shipment prices or even hypothetically continue to decrease. When it comes to the Jordan 3 A MA MANIERE, prices already started out very high in the low 400s, just hardly below where I'm expecting these 4s to settle post-shipment. Nonetheless, they still managed to increase a notable amount, at one point even to around $700, now hovering to around $600 however. On the other hand, the Jordan 1 A MA MANIERE experienced the complete opposite reaction. While also starting in the low 400s, following their second large drop, they eventually dropped to the high 200s to low 300s. When it comes to these Jordan 4s, it's difficult what to say, considering they already started out so high as well. Will they end up more like the Jordan 3s, or will they end up more like the Jordan 1s? Overall, the past 2 years, Jordan 4s have tended to appreciate in their value quite well, while Jordan 1s have not really appreciated as much. Furthermore, I do understand that this is a pretty sticky area where I might be unintentionally cherry picking to suit my argument, but I would be leaning towards the fact that more people like the Jordan 4s than the Jordan 1s for these A MA MANIEREs, and possibly more than 50% of people liking them even more than the Jordan 3s. I don't have any data to back that up. It's mostly just intuition based off of anecdotal evidence such as comments. So take it with a grain of salt and let me know if you guys agree or if you think that these will be more like the Jordan 1, since the comment section is a valuable resource. With that said, I'm expecting these to continue increasing following their post-shipment trough, similar to how the Jordan 3s ended up, but not much higher than the Jordan 4's post-drop average, considering how high that already is. Finally, regarding the hold margin on these, essentially, are these actually worth your time, even if they do end up increasing? Considering the post-drop decrease is so significant, I think it may be ideal to analyze this from two separate perspectives. One perspective being someone who has the ability to pre-sell these the day of the drop around while prices are still in the mid 500s, and another perspective of someone who can't sell until the post-shipment trough of the mid 400s. Assuming the turnout of the Jordan 3s is the best case scenario for argument purposes, an increase from the post-drop average to 600 is only about a 10% ROI. Definitely not ideal for most sneaker holds. On the other hand, from the perspective of the trough, an increase from around 450 to 600 is good at over 30%, but still nothing too crazy. So again, what we find is while it does seem that this is a very highly demanded sneaker that should have good long-term potential, arguably even more than the Jordan 3s, what really hurts these is their post-drop value already being so high. This leaves very little room for a notable ROI. We see this quite often with these very hyped sneakers. Hence, I would rate these a 5 out of 10 hold from the perspective of somebody who does not have the ability to sell these until the shipment trough. Just about average, definitely not bad, but a 2 out of 10 hold from the perspective of someone who actually has the ability to sell these right away while prices are very high. Likely, you'll find yourself somewhere in between. Personally, I'll be wearing my pair, but if I get a second, I will try to sell these as soon as possible while prices are still very high. Hypothetically, if I'm unable to do so due to perhaps delayed shipments for a long period of time, and I end up having them while they're in the mid 400s by the time I get them, I may consider holding. Anywhere in between, I'll still probably be selling these, however. Also, just a note in general for anyone considering holding any items who do have low capital, you should never hold anything in general if you don't have sufficient capital to go for as many drops as possible at your full potential without holding back. If you need money to go for all drops, try to sell these as soon as possible. Now, let me know what you guys are doing with your pairs down in the comments below, since this is a discussion at the end of the day. I can't predict the future, that's just my personal analysis based on the data that I've acknowledged. We have a lot of brilliant minds watching the video right now, so I implore you to leave your notions down in the comments below. Lastly, just a quick heads up that since the Jordan 1 Lost and Found is dropping soon, and Snipes will be releasing them, we will be restocking limited copies of Gargantua AIO sometime in the next few days so you guys could cook with the bypass. If you're interested, just follow the Twitter with notifications enabled, Gargantua_AIO. The restock time and date will be announced there. Obviously, Gargantua covers significantly more sites and has many more unique features as well, such as the Flex app account gen and raffle modules, so I encourage you to check out the Twitter, Gargantua_AIO. But anyway, that will conclude it for today. Feel free to leave a like if you enjoyed, or perhaps if you learned a thing or two. Subscribe and enable post notifications. This way you stay 100% updated on all hyped releases. Also, feel free to check out the links in the description below for reliable, fast, residential proxies from Kip Proxies. You can also now join eDeals with the link in the description below for only $14.99 per month. Furthermore, feel free to follow Endurance on Twitter for updates on the next restock or key giveaways. And last but not least, make sure to follow KeithAdam10 and Personals for You. This way you guys stay updated on all urgent info like I was going over today. With that though, I'll see you guys later. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and of course, good luck on the release, or if you already copped, congratulations.